everyone, Andrea Pearson here. Today's video is, oh, hold on, I'm in the wrong page. There we go. Now I can tell you what today's video is about. Today's video is a Q&A session, and we've had a lot of really insane things happening here lately. I'm going to talk about that as part of our Q&A. But the questions I'll be answering include me describing my ideal date with the Joker from Batman. And do I read all the reviews on my books? And if I had the ability to see the future and saw a disaster coming, what would I do about it? So if you can't tell, I've got a backdrop. This is my backdrop. It is not a real brick wall. It blows in the wind, and I've got my window open because, you know, being pregnant, I'm hot all the time. So anyway, there is a crease in it, and I apologize for that. The crease will eventually go away, but I don't have a good way to store the backdrop. I don't actually know how people store backdrops. It came to me folded, which makes sense because it's just a vinyl thing, and, you know, they're not going to ship in this huge long thing when it's cheaper to ship it folded. But I need to ask my brother. He's a photographer. Maybe he'll be able to tell me how to store my backdrop so it doesn't get all wrinkly and gross. Anyway, I'm really excited about it. I'm going to get some other ones as well. Let me know what you think about this one, and then I'm going to see if I can find a few others that are fun and hopefully not terribly distracting, but I like bright things. So my husband's like, don't go too distracting. And I'm like, okay, I'll try not to. Anyway, so my due date is 2 weeks from Sunday. So I've got 1 week and 5 days to go till the due date. My C-section is finally scheduled for the 18th. I think I've told you guys that already in my weekly email. But the reason why we scheduled it for the 18th is because, well, my first baby was born 3 weeks late via emergency C-section, and she was only 7 pounds, 7 ounces. And so obviously she wasn't super, huge. And then the second baby was born a week before my due date, and he had breathing problems and swallowing problems. And I was asking my doctor about that, and he's wondering if maybe my gestational period just happens to be a little bit longer, maybe at 41 weeks. And then also, so March is absolutely insane. We've got an insane number of things going on. Like, let's see, the 2nd is one of my niece's birthdays. The 3rd is a Sunday. I can't schedule C-section for the 3rd. The 4th is our anniversary. The 5th is my, another niece's birthday. The 6th is my assistant's birthday. The 7th has nothing. The 8th is my editor's birthday. The 9th is my brother's birthday. The 10th is a Sunday. Can't schedule C-section for the 10th. The 11th is my husband's birthday. The 12th was open. The 13th is my niece's birthday. The 14th is my birthday, and so on and so forth. So we basically had only a few days to pick from where I didn't feel like I was choosing favorites. And in my family, my family's very boisterous and opinionated, and I love them, absolutely love them. And my brother Josh is my audiovisual guy. He might be listening to this, so hi. Anyway, I didn't want to pick favorites. I didn't want to say, my assistant over my editor, or, and so I was like, let's just schedule a C-section for the week after my due date. If the baby comes before, then that's great. He's coming on the day he chooses rather than us picking a date for him. And more likely than not, he won't come until the 18th anyway, just because my history, And so anyway, so that's a little bit of a background on why we decided to do that. And I bet half of you are like, okay, that's okay, whatever. Anyway, one thing about having a backdrop, I can do wide videos now, which makes it for easier YouTube watching. So those of you on YouTube, you're welcome. Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and get into describing my ideal date with the Joker from Batman. So I'm going to tell you right now, the Joker is my absolute least favorite villain from Batman. I don't think he's particularly scary. I did like the Heath Ledger version, but I don't know. I just feel like he's been done so many times, and I'm a huge Batman fan, and so I've watched lots of Batman movies and the cartoon all growing up. And so the Joker is not as compelling to me. And so I would probably not show up, which is horrible. I know. Hi, Shauna. Or I poison him, or I do something else sudden and not clever or funny at all. So there's my answer for that. I hope that's not terribly disappointing, but, okay. So the next question is, do you read all the reviews of your books? And my answer for that is nope. I only watch the reviews during the reviews that are getting posted actively during the first few days after I ask my Artcast team to post reviews. And the reason I look at them at that point is because I'm watching for like enthusiastic little short blurbs that little quotes that I can share with my readers to get, readers who haven't read the book to download, or to use in ads when I'm also trying to get new readers. Otherwise, I've found that even positive reviews can be discouraging, especially when I'm really stressed about not being able to write all the time like I want to be. And as a mom to young kids and I'm pregnant, it's just really hard to keep up with everything. And knowing that a reader loves my books is absolutely heartwarming and wonderful. But sometimes it is also discouraging because I'm like, oh, I don't know when, I don't know. I can't control my schedule. It's really, really hard, And so, no, I don't read all my reviews. I especially don't read reviews that are negative, 3, 2, or 1-star reviews, because those are generally, they're not my target audience, those readers, and they're not generally going to help me be a better author, especially now that I've been doing this for as long as I have and as many books as I have. When I first started out, I did read negative reviews because, at that time I was not strong in my writing style, and I discovered that reviews sometimes mentioned things that were problems that I'd created in my writing that I wasn't aware of and that were unintentional. Like, for example, Mosaic Chronicles, Nicole, I had several readers in the very beginning comment on her being a jerk, which obviously is not what I was wanting. And so I did a major rewrite and just removed any of the references that those readers commented on. And then I had new people read it and ask them for feedback on her character personally. And she passed that time. And so in the beginning, that was really important to me. And now it's obviously important for me as well, but I'm also a lot more secure in my writing style and in understanding what makes a good character or a bad character. Anyway, so that's the answer to that one. Now, the answer to the last one, if you had the ability to see the future and saw a disaster coming, what would you do about it? And hold on a second, I'm actually going to copy and paste that and put that up higher so I can actually see it easier while I'm talking to you all. Okay, so if you had the ability to see the future and saw a disaster coming, what would you do about it? This is very applicable right now. And I live in Utah. I think most of you know that by now. And Utah averages about 700 earthquakes a year, including, 3.01s and ones that people can feel and things like that. And in the last week to week and a half, we've had 150, and we've had several of them that have woken us up at night, and we've felt quite a few of them. And 150 in a week when we only have 700 usually in a year, and we've had about 500, maybe 550 since the start of the year. That's a lot more than the average earthquake. And I mean, obviously Utah, we have huge mountains. Obviously it's a geologically active area, the mountains got there somehow. But I have to admit that these earthquakes, when they wake me up in the middle of the night and they shake the house, and it really gets my heart rate going and adrenaline. And I mostly worry about, I'm 8.5 weeks. Hello, let me have you go away. I'm 8.5 months pregnant. And if we had a huge earthquake, how can I protect myself and my kids? And then if I'm having a newborn, if we have a huge earthquake, how do I protect my newborn and my kids? Well, I guess my newborn would be one of my kids, but you'll get what I'm saying. And so it's been a little bit stressful for us, and we're trying to do our best to get prepared in case something happens. And we actually live in a place where we have space for that kind of preparation. Our last place was really small and we didn't have very much storage space at all. But basically, to answer that question, I'd warn people to be prepared, mainly people who would believe me, so like my family, and because, there's millions of people who would never even hear from me or never even care or would not believe me. But I'd make sure that myself, my family, my husband, and my kids, that we were prepared and ready. And I'm very lucky to be married to a guy who takes this kind of stuff seriously, making sure that we have the right amount of food and the right amount of water and, all of the ins and outs, including how do we keep the water clean and all the testing kits and all stuff like that. So that's what he's been tackling. Pretty much since we got married, he's been interested in that kind of stuff. And so that's a huge blessing to me. But anyway, that's it pretty much for this episode. Oh, geez, that's my podcast talking. That's pretty much it for this video. And if you have any questions, go ahead and post them below. Wish me luck with the pregnancy, with the last little bit. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it's actually coming so soon. If I'm able to, I will continue recording a weekly video until I have the kid. And then after that point, then I will catch up. I don't know. I might take a week off depending on when he's born. But I will keep you all posted and be watching for that. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye.